Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotarashata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mayi Ki Jai Jamuna Mayi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, and welcome everyone for Sri Caitanya Caritamrita with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. It is Thursday, December 19th, 2024 in New York, and we're picking up with Adi Lila, chapter 10. And last I'm aware we read was text 145, which would mean starting with text 146. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading the tree of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all of the primary and significant associates of the Lord. Balabhadra Bhattacharya Bhakti Adhikari Mathura Gamane Prabhura Yeno Brahmachari. As a bona fide devotee, Balabhadra Bhattacharya, the 23rd principal associate, acted as the brahmachari of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he toured Mathura. Balabhadra Bhattacharya acted as a brahmachari, or personal assistant of a sannyasi. A sannyasi is not supposed to cook. Generally, a sannyasi takes prasadam at the house of a grihasta, and a brahmachari helps in this connection. A sannyasi is supposed to be a spiritual master, and a brahmachari his disciple. Balabhadra Bhattacharya acted as a brahmachari for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when the Lord toured Mathura and Vrindavan. Hare Krishna. I wondered if Maharaj might have something to say in this connection. Nothing comes to my mind at the moment, but I'd love to hear from him since he has so much experience as a sannyasi, and it'd be interesting to hear if you have something personal to share. I'd love that, but anything at all.
No, I don't think so. Let me just see one thing. Let me get to the right place. There we are. Sannyasi is not supposed to cook. Of course, Prabhupada himself cooked on his famous cooker. Apart from that, no. No, I don't have anything to add.
All right, thank you, Maharaj. We'll continue here. Bada Haridasa Arachota Haridas, Dui Kirtaniya Rahe Mahaprabhura Pasha. Bada Haridas and Chota Haridas, the 24th and 25th devotees in Nilachala, were good singers who always accompanied Lord Chaitanya. Chota Haridas was later banished from the company of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as stated in the Antilila, chapter 2. At any point, Maharaj, if you'd like to say something, please do.
Just a point I've made a few times before, that the in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are devotees who are recognized as good kirtaniyas. So it's not that it's just, well, everybody who's a chanter is a chanter. That's certainly there. Everyone's chanting, whether so-called good or bad, is absolute. But at the same time, there are devotees in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time who were noted for their kirtan. And some were noted for their cooking, some were noted for their dancing, some were noted for their kirtan. So it's not that we just say, well, it's only your sincerity. We do say that. That's ultimately what counts with Krishna. But still, it was recognized. This person is skillful at this. This person is noted for that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ramabhadracharya Ara Odhra Singheshvara Tapana Acharya Ara Raghu Nilambara. Among the devotees who lived with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri, Ramabhadra Acharya was the 26th, Singheshvara the 27th, Tapana Acharya the 28th, Raghunath Bhattacharya the 29th, and Nilambara the 30th. Singhabhata Kamabhata Dantura Shivananda Gaude Purva Britya Prabhura Priya Kamalananda. Singhabhata was the 31st, Kamabhata the 32nd, Shivananda the 33rd, and Kamalananda the 34th. They all formerly served Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bengal, but later these servants left Bengal to live with the Lord in Jagannath Puri. Achyutananda Advaita Acharya Tanaya Nilachale Rahi Prabhura Charana Ashaya. Achyutananda, the 35th devotee, was the son of Advaita Acharya. He also lived with Lord Chaitanya, taking shelter of his lotus feet at Jagannath Puri. There is a statement about Achyutananda in chapter 12, verse 13 of the Adi Lila. I looked at that statement, and actually it expands quite a bit. Prabhupada, Srila Kaviraj Goswami directly mentions him in that particular verse. And then in a slightly later verse, Prabhupada goes on at some length about this personality, Achyutananda. And if you'd like, we could certainly look there.
Let's look.
All right, so going back to that, let me see here. Yes, so in the verse that he mentions here, text 13, it simply says, a big branch of Advaita Acharya was his son Achyutananda. From the beginning of his life, he engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. Reading now from Adi Lila, chapter 12, verse 13. And then it goes on, when Achyutananda heard from his father that Keshava Bharati was the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was very unhappy. He told his father, your instruction that Keshava Bharati is the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will spoil the entire country. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the spiritual master of the 14 worlds, but you say that someone else is his spiritual master. This is not supported by any revealed scripture. When Advaita Acharya heard this statement from his 5-year-old son, Achyutananda, he felt great satisfaction because of his conclusive judgment. And then in the purport to this, Prabhupada quotes Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur at length. It gives an extensive description of the descendants of Advaita Acharya. The Chaitanya Bhagavat, I'm reading now from Adi Lila, chapter 12, text 17 in the purport. The Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antya-khanda, chapter 1 states that Achyutananda was the eldest son of Advaita Acharya. The Sanskrit book Advaita Charita states, Advaita Acharya Prabhu had 3 sons who were devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Their names were Achyuta, Krishna Mishra, and Gopal Das, and they were all born of the womb of his wife, Sita Devi. Advaita Acharya also had 3 more sons whose names were Balaram, Svarup, and Jagadish. Thus, there were 6 sons of Advaita Acharya. Among the 6 sons, 3 were strict followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and of these 3, Achyutananda was the eldest. Now we get some history here. Advaita Prabhu married in the beginning of the 15th century Shakabda, late 15th century AD. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to visit the village of Ramakeli while going from Jagannath Puri to Vrindavan, during the Shakabda years 1433 and 1434, AD 1511 and 1512, Achyutananda was only 5 years old. The Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antya-khanda, 4th chapter, describes Achyutananda at that time as Panchavarsha Vayasa Madhura Digambara, only 5 years old and standing naked. Therefore, it is to be concluded that Achyutananda was born sometime in the year 1428 or AD 1506. Before the birth of Achyutananda, Advaita Prabhu's wife, Sita Devi, came to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at his birth, at Lord Chaitanya's birth. Thus, it is not impossible that she had the other 3 sons by Advaita within the 21 years between 1407 and 1428 Shakabda, AD 1486 and 1507, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu having appeared in 1486. In an unauthorized book of the name Jayadvaita Charita, published in Bengali in the unauthorized newspaper Nityananda Dayini in 1792 Shakabda, AD 1870, it is mentioned that Achyutananda was a class friend of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. According to the Chaitanya Bhagavat, this statement is not at all valid. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order of sannyas in the year 1431 Shakabda, AD 1509, he came to the house of Advaita Prabhu at Shantipur. At that time, as stated in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antyakanda chapter 1, Achyutananda was only 3 years old. The Chaitanya Bhagavat further states that the naked child, the son of Advaita Prabhu, immediately came and fell down at the lotus feet of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord immediately took him on his lap, although he was not very clean, having dust all over his body. Lord Chaitanya said, "My dear Achyuta, Advaita Acharya is my father, and thus we are brothers." So there's more. Before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his spiritual forms during his residence at Navadvip, he asked Sri Ram Pandit, Srivas Thakur's brother, to go to Shantipur and bring back Advaita Acharya. Achyutananda joined his father at that time. It is said, Advaitara Tanaya Achyutananda Nam, Parama Balaka Seho Khande Aviram. Achyutananda also joined in crying in transcendental bliss. Again, when Lord Chaitanya beat Advaita Acharya for explaining Srimad Bhagavatam from an impersonalist viewpoint opposed to the principles of Bhakti Yoga, Achyutananda was also present. Therefore, all these incidents must have occurred only 2 or 3 years before Lord Chaitanya accepted the sannyas order. As mentioned above in the Chaitanya Bhagavat Antyakanda chapter 1, it is stated that Achyutananda, the son of Advaita Acharya, offered his obeisances to the Lord. Therefore, it should be concluded that from the very beginning of his life, Achyutananda was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is no information that Achyutananda ever married, but he is described as the biggest branch of the Advaita Acharya family. From a book named Shakha Nirnayamrita, it is understood that Achyutananda was a disciple of Gadadhar Pandit and that he took shelter of Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri and engaged in devotional service. Chaitanya Caritamrita Adi Lila chapter 10 states that Achyutananda, the son of Advaita Acharya, lived in Jagannath Puri, taking shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gadadhar Pandit, in the last years of his life, also lived with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri. There is no doubt, therefore, that Achyutananda was a disciple of Pandit Gadadhar. In the accounts of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing in front of the car during the Rath Yatra festival, Achyutananda's name is to be found many times. It is stated that in the party of Advaita Acharya from Shantipur, Achyutananda was dancing and others were singing. At that time, the boy was only 6 years old. Text 87 of the Gaura Ganodesha Deepika, compiled by Sri Kavikarnapur, describes Achyutananda as a disciple of Gadadhar Pandit and a great and dear devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. According to the opinion of some, he was an incarnation of Kartikeya, the son of Lord Shiva, and according to others, he was formerly the gopi named Achyuta. The Gaura Ganodesha Deepika 88 supports both these opinions. Another book, Narottama Vilas, compiled by Sri Narahari Das, mentions Achyutananda's presence during the festival at Kaitari. According to Sri Narahari Das, during the last days of his life, Achyutananda stayed in his house at Shantipur, but during the presence of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he lived at Jagannath Puri with Gadadhar Pandit. Maharaj, would you care to say anything about this, or just we can move on with the other text? All right. Let's see. And Panchatattva Prabhu does not fail to mention that today we have one Bada Haridas Prabhu who is noted for his beautiful, pure chanting. Thank you, Prabhu. And I will also thank you if you'd like to pick up with our reading in chapter 10, if you can remember where we are, since I've lost my place now. Text 151, is that all right?
Sure. Nilomo Gangadas Ar Vishnudas Esabe Prabhu Sange Nilachalevas. Nirloma Gangadas and Vishnudas were the 36th and 37th among the devotees who lived at Jagannath Puri as servants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Varanasi Madhye Prabhur Bhakta Tinajan Chandrasekhar Vaidya Ar Mishra Tapan Raghunath Bhattacharya Mishra Nandan Prabhu Jabe Kashi Aila Deki Vrindavan Chandrasekhar Grihe Koila Dui Masavas Tapana Mishra Gori Bhiksha Dui Mas. The prominent devotees at Varanasi were the physician Chandrasekhar, Tapan Mishra, and Raghunath Bhattacharya. Tapan Mishra's son, and Raghunath Bhattacharya, Tapan Mishra's son. When Lord Chaitanya came to Varanasi after seeing Vrindavan, for 2 months he lived at the residence of Chandrasekhar Vaidya and accepted prasadam at the house of Tapana Mishra. Purport. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Bengal, Tapana Mishra approached him to discuss spiritual advancement. Thus he was favored by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and received Harinam initiation. After that, by the order of the Lord, Tapana Mishra resided in Varanasi, and when Lord Chaitanya visited Varanasi, he stayed at the home of Tapana Mishra. Hare Krishna. I don't have anything to say on this purport. Guru Maharaj, would you like to say something?
No.
If you like, Prabhu, please continue.
Okay. Raghunath Balye Kaila Prabhura Sevan Uchchishta Marjana Ar Pada Sangvahan. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at the house of Tapana Mishra, Raghunath Bhatta, who was then a boy, washed his dishes and massaged his legs. Bardohile Nilachale Gila Prabhur Stane Ashtamas Rahila Bhiksha Dena Kona Dine. When Raghunath grew up to be a young man, he visited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri and stayed there for 8 months. Sometimes he offered prasadam to the Lord. Prabhuragya Paya Vrindavanir Aila Asya Sri Rupa Goshayera Nikate Rahila. Later, by the order of Lord Chaitanya, Raghunath went to Vrindavan and remained there under the shelter of Srila Rupa Goswami. Parastane Rupa Goshai Shunena Bhagavat Prabhura Kripaye Teho Krishna Preme Mata. While he stayed with Srila Rupa Goswami, his engagement was to recite Srimad Bhagavatam for him to hear. As a result of this Bhagavatam recitation, he attained perfectional love of Krishna, by which he remained always maddened. Purport. Raghunath Bhattacharya, or Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis, was the son of Tapana Mishra. Born in approximately 1425 Shakabda, or AD 1503, he was expert in reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, and in Antya Lila chapter 13, it is stated that he was also expert in cooking. Whatever he cooked would be nectarian. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was greatly pleased to accept the food that he cooked, and Raghunath Bhatta used to take the remnants of food left by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Raghunath Bhattacharya lived for 8 months in Jagannath Puri, after which Lord Chaitanya ordered him to go to Vrindavan to join Sri Rupa Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Raghunath Bhattacharya not to marry, but to remain a brahmachari, and he also ordered him to read Srimad Bhagavatam constantly. Thus, he went to Vrindavan, where he engaged in reciting Srimad Bhagavatam to Srila Rupa Goswami. He was so expert in reciting Srimad Bhagavatam that he would recite each and every verse in 3 melodious tunes. While Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was living with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord blessed him by offering him betel nuts, offered to the Jagannath deity, and a garland of tulsi said to be as long as 14 cubits. Under Raghunath Bhatta Goswami's order, one of his disciples constructed the Govinda temple. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami supplied all the ornaments of the Govinda deity. He never talked of nonsense or worldly matters, but always engaged in hearing about Krishna 24 hours a day. He never cared to hear blasphemy of a Vaishnava. Even when there were points to be criticized, he used to say that since all the Vaishnavas were engaged in the service of the Lord, he did not mind their faults. Later, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami lived by Radhakund in a small cottage. In the Guru Ganadesh Deepika 185, it is said that Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was formerly the gopi named Raga Manjari. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshumanitam Yena Tasmai Shri Prabhe Namaha. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Gurudasa Jayadvaita Swamin Iti Namine. So we've heard here in these verses about mention of Chandrasekhar, Tapan Mishra, Raghunath Bhattacharya, who was Tapana Mishra's son, and how Raghunath, as a young man, visited Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri and stayed for 8 months. And he would offer prasadam to the Lord sometimes. And later on, it's described here in Prabhupada's purport for the last verse we just read, that he would cook for Lord Chaitanya and also engage in constant Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam recitation with Srila Rupa Goswami. What catches my attention, of course, and which is something that I think we would all like to live up to, is Raghunath Bhatta Goswami's concern, a lack of any concern whatsoever with criticism of Vaishnavas. Even when there were points to be criticized, he used to say that since all the Vaishnavas were engaged in the service of the Lord, he did not mind their faults. And of course, he never talked of nonsense or worldly matters, but always engaged in hearing about Krishna. This is, as we know, the behavior of an ideal Vaishnava. These are the qualities. I'm sure there's more that can be said. Guru Maharaj, would you like to say something?
I take it as not just wasn't interested in hearing blasphemy, didn't want to hear it. I think that's what's intended.
Yes.
Just to hear blasphemy of Vaishnavas is also a Vaishnava Aparad. He didn't want to be subjected to that.
I remember hearing a story of one of our contemporary Vaishnavas who was coming down the stairs into a room where some criticism was being laid. And he came down the stairs, heard 1 or 2 words, turned around and walked right back up. Didn't come down again.
Bravo.
Meena Mataji informs us that 14 cubits is equivalent to 21 feet. So that's a lot of Tulsi. Let's see. Shall we continue? Vijay Krishna Prabhu, would you like to read our next verse or verses until we get to a purport? I think we're now on text 159.
Yes, Ekendra Prabhu.
Jai.
Thank you very much, your most kind. Text.
But your audio is very faint.
Just a second. I'm changing.
While you work on that, Prabhu, we just need you to.
What about now?
That's much better, much better.
Yes, I just changed.
Just before you start, Prabhu, we had a comment in the chat I wanted to get to. Saraswati Mata says, Pranams Param Puja Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas. Narada Muni, as a boy of 5, also accepted remnants of prasadam of pure devotees that he served during Chaturmasya and thus became infused with bhakti. But I recall that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wasn't very enthusiastic to have his remnants of prasadam distributed. Why?
I would take it that this was his humility.
All right. All right, Krishna. So, yeah, please go ahead, Vijay Krishna Prabhu, if you're ready with text 159.
Yes. Ekendra Prabhu. Text 159. Emata Sankyatita Chaitanya Bhakta Gana Den Matra Liki Samyakina Yaya Katana. I list in this way only a portion of the innumerable devotees of Lord Chaitanya. To describe them all fully is not possible. Text 160. From each branch of the tree have grown hundreds and thousands of sub-branches of disciples and grand disciples. Purport. It was the desire of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that his cult be spread all over the world. Therefore, there is a great necessity for many disciples of the branches of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disciplic succession. His cult should be spread not only in a few villages or in Bengal or in India, but all over the world. It is very regrettable that complacent so-called devotees criticize the members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness for accepting sannyas and spreading the cult of Lord Chaitanya all over the world. It is not our business to criticize anyone, but because they try to find fault with this movement, the real truth must be stated. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted devotees all over the world. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur confirmed this. It is in pursuit of their will that the ISKCON movement is spreading all over the world. Genuine devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must take pride in the spread of the Krishna consciousness movement instead of viciously criticizing its propaganda work.
Any comments from your side, Prabhu? Anything?
Yes, a very small one. The very first sentence of the purport to text 160, and I will read it again. Quote, "It was the desire of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that his cult be spread all over the world." And that is one of the reasons I became a devotee, when I heard that there was a prophecy made by Lord Chaitanya that his name would become known everywhere, every town and village, And then I thought to myself, but the world is so big. Um, how it would be possible for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to become known in the whole world? But then, because of his determination for having his name known all over the world, he captured me. I thought to myself, if he wants for his name to be known all over the world, that the reason for that to be, it's because something of real value he has to offer to the whole world. So let me try and help him in any way I can. That is my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Maharaj, we'd love to hear from you here if you'd have something to share.
Just that, in one sense, the situation Prabhupada comments on was a matter of past history. When Prabhupada came out of India and began successfully spreading Krishna consciousness movement, then there was quite considerable criticism of our Prabhupada's efforts, his disciples, and so on. But that's like a war that's already been won. It would be hard today to find anyone from the Gaudiya Sampradaya who would fail to acknowledge Prabhupada's accomplishments. Perhaps some might acknowledge them more enthusiastically than others, but I don't think there's anyone, at least there's no one I know of, who would criticize Prabhupada at this point. In fact, it was very nice that Prabhupada's Tirubhav Mahotsav in Mayapur this year. There were two sannyasis who came on behalf of two branches of the Gaudiya Math. And one was a disciple of Srila Puri Maharaj, and I forget who the other was. But they both spoke very nicely, glorifying Prabhupada. And one of them began, I hope, with a Sanskrit verse offering pranams to his Guru Maharaj. And I offer my obeisances to Srila, whether it was Puri Maharaj or another godbrother, who was the most intimate and dear associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and so on. And devotees were wondering, where's this going? He's here and he's glorifying his Guru Maharaj. So after glorifying his Guru Maharaj, he said, and Swami Maharaj is not less. And then he glorified Srila Prabhupada very nicely. It was a pleasure to hear.
Jai. We have some things in the chat. Panchatattva Prabhu says, it strikes me how protective and proud Srila Prabhupada was and is of his disciples.
Yes, rightfully so. Whatever we were, Prabhupada made us followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What a glorious accomplishment.
Morai Gupta Prabhu says, Hare Krishna Maharaj and all the devotees. Sometimes we hear about devotees who have unfathomable qualities, like Haridas Thakur. But also there are devotees with qualities that are mentioned, which could be describing some of our ISKCON devotees, and I find that very encouraging and inspiring.
Even unfathomable qualities.
Thank you, Prabhu. Saraswati Mataji says, does the word propaganda have some political bias connotation because ISKCON has nothing to do with mundane bias or political agenda?
No, nothing to do with politics. It's just propagating. What? Yeah, to propagate something, you use propaganda, but it doesn't have the political or pejorative senses with which it's often associated today.
One thing that came to my mind, Maharaj, as I was reading this, listening to the purport to 160, saying that genuine devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must take pride in the spread of the Krishna consciousness movement instead of viciously criticizing its propaganda work. Because I live in the, did you have something more to say there, or?
No.
It just occurred to me how the tendency to criticize is always there. And this is like the litmus test, if one is a genuine devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that you see someone preaching and you're just happy to see it. And you should take pride in it because that's what you should do. You know, whether it's Prabhupada himself, whether it's his followers, anybody who can do it is glorious. And we're supposed to be happy about it.
I remember once hearing Srila Sridhar Maharaj say that when I think of what Swami Maharaj has accomplished, my chest swells with pride.
Yes. Jai. Oh, there's something more here. Oh, more from Saraswati Mata. I remember hearing about this Bollywood movie, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, that misleads people about the genuine ISKCON movement, glorifying and spreading bhakti all over the world, as a movement of hippies in an attempt to fault the movement and deter Indian people from accepting ISKCON.
As I recall, it wasn't an attempt to discourage people from joining ISKCON. It was just cheap commercial movie making.
Hare Krishna. Let's see. Preeti Mataji, would you like to read, starting with the text 161, some verses until we get to a purport next?
Yes, Prabhuji. सकल वर्या আছে প্রেম ফুল ফলে ভাসইলা ত্রিজগৎ কৃষ্ণ প্রেম জলে. Every branch and sub-branch of the tree is full of innumerable fruits and flowers. They inundate the world with the waters of love of Krishna. एक एक शाखार शक्ति अनंत महिमा असहस्रवदने यार दिते नार सीमा. Each and every branch of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees has unlimited spiritual power and glory. Even if one had thousands of mouths, it would be impossible to describe the limits of their activities. संक्षेप कहिला महाप्रभुर भक्त गण समग्र बलिते नारे सहस्त्रवदन. I have briefly described the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in different places. Even Lord Shesha, who has thousands of mouths, could not list them all. Prabhuji, should I read ahead or stop?
Please, Mata, go ahead. We're just about at the end, and we'd love to hear.
Okay. Shri Rupa Raghunath Pade Yar Asham Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rup and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Purportus and the Bhaktivedanta purport Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, 10th chapter, in the matter of the main trunk of the Chaitanya tree, its branches and its sub-branches. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for reading.
Oh.
Maharaj, I was wondering if perhaps before we move on to our next chapter, which is entitled The Expansions of Lord Nityananda, just in case you might have anything to say in the way of recapping our reading of chapter 10.
Prabhupada often said that Krishna doesn't mean Krishna alone. Krishna means Krishna with his devotees. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't mean Chaitanya Mahaprabhu alone. Panchatattva is there, and then so many devotees of the Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performs his pastimes with his devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spreads the Sankirtan movement through his devotees. Shangopangastra Parshada. In the Kali Yuga, the weapons of the Lord are his devotees. So the devotees of as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is glorious, his devotees are also glorious. And as Kaviraj Goswami says, Sankshepe, we're just getting a summary. Even some of these devotees, we may not even hear anything about them. If we were asked, what can you tell us about this? We might not be able to say anything. And yet they're listed as principal branches of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there's so much we don't know about the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And even those of whom we've heard a fair amount, there's so much more to hear about them. So there's unlimited glories in the Chaitanya of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers, his devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for that so much, Hare Krishna. So I think we have a little time left. We can start our next chapter, and which is chapter 11, the expansions of Lord Nityananda. But first, we have a hand up. Vijay Krishna Prabhu, please go ahead.
Yes, Sekendra Prabhu, just a question. I would like to hear from Maharaj about the following. Okay, what if anyone argues by saying that, oh, Lord Chaitanya is not different from wanting to become just famous. He declares that he declared 500 years ago that his name will become known all over the world, every town and village. That is not different from wanting to become famous. When what is to be expected from a Vaishnava is for him to be humble and meek. And so what kind of fame is this that Lord Chaitanya wants to achieve when he says that he wants to his name will be known all over the world? Is it that it is cheap fame?
He doesn't say he wants it, he just says this is what's going to happen. But apart from that, Krishna deserves to be famous. So if he wants to be famous, there's nothing wrong. If we want to be famous, it's a fault. If Krishna wants to be famous, he's entitled to be famous.
Of course, Maharaj.
Thank you very much. And so, let's see. Oh, Saraswati Mata, would you like to start our next chapter? Read a verse or two until we get to...
Yes, but today, if it's all right, I just wanted to read something we read in today's Bhagavatam class regarding this glorification and how Krishna is glorified all over the world. It's said in the purport, it's a natural psychology in every individual case that a person likes to hear and enjoy his personal glories enumerated by others. That is a natural instinct, and the Lord, being also an individual personality like others, is not an exception to this psychology, because psychological characteristics visible in the individual soul are but reflections of the same psychology in the absolute Lord. The only difference is that the Lord is the greatest personality of all and absolute in all his affairs. If therefore the Lord is attracted by the pure devotees' chanting of his glories, there is nothing astonishing. Since he is absolute, he can appear himself in the picture of his glorification, the two things being identical. So I thought that maybe that might tie into what was just discussed. Okay, chapter 11, the expansions of Lord Nityananda. As the branches and sub-branches of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were described in the 10th chapter, in this 11th chapter, the branches and sub-branches of Sri Nityananda Prabhu are similarly listed. Nityananda Padam Poja Bringan Prema Madhu Madan Natva Khailanteshu Mukhya Likhyante Kati Chanmaya. Translation. After offering my obeisances unto all the devotees of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who are like bumblebees collecting honey from his lotus feet, I shall try to describe those who are the most prominent. Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Shri Krishna Caitanya Tanahara Charan Srita Yese Dhanya. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyone who has taken shelter at his lotus feet is glorious. Jaya Jaya Jayadvaita Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhura Sarva Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Sri Advaita Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tasya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Satpremamra Sakhina Urdhva Skanda Dvatutendo Sakharupan Gananumaha. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is the topmost branch of the indestructible tree of eternal love of Godhead. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I offer my respectful obeisances to all the sub-branches of that topmost branch. Do you still wish for me to continue, or is it time for Kirtan?
If you can read a couple more, I think that's all right.
All right, text 5. Sri Nityananda Vrikshera Skanda Guru Tara Tahayata Janmila Sakha Prashakha Vistara. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is an extremely heavy branch of the Sri Chaitanya tree. From that branch grow many branches and sub-branches. Text 6. Mala karera ichha jale pada sakha gana prema phula phale pari chela bhuvana. Watered by the desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, these branches and sub-branches have grown unlimitedly and covered the entire world with fruits and flowers.
Hare Krishna. Would you have anything to comment before we ask Maharaj for his comments and then close with Kirtan?
And not really. Hare Krishna.
All right, thank you so much for reading. Maharaj, would you like to say anything about the beginning of this chapter before we go to the chat?
As we've heard about the branches of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, now the branches and sub-branches of Nityananda Prabhu. Also, well, it's interesting, the sort of tense is irrelevant here. The branches covered the whole world. So now, whether or not it was true at the time, it's true now. So, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Praveen Krishna Prabhu tells a story, perhaps in the connection with what we were just discussing about the spread of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his names all over the world. He says, one of our devotees went to invite a person to the temple. The person said, Krishna is very proud. since he has to say that everything emanates from him. The devotee did not reply at first. After some conversation, he asked him, "What do you do?" "I'm a bank manager." "Oh, don't be so proud." "But I am a bank manager. So is Krishna the source of everything." Excellent. And with that, we are at time for kirtan. I was going to ask if Krishna Konteya Prabhu would be kind enough to lead us in kirtan.
I heard Prabhuji.
Sounds good from this side.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Tagore Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitagore Haribo, 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 Nitagora, Haribo. Jayam Vishnupad Brahmansa Vairajacharya Astotara Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Vairajacharya Astotara Sata Sri Srimad Guru Das Maharaj Jayadvaita Swami Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गिराधर शिवासारि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय 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 श्री श्री परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada की जय जय श्री श्री गौर Gauranga Srila Prabhupada की जय.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
you.
And thank you everyone for being here. Sri Caitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Ki Jai.
Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Hari, Haribo.
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 Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. All
Okay,
branches.
thank you very much.
All branches.
Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
Haribo. Krishna Kandiya.